Welcome to Folklore Chronicles-k stories. In the bustling heart of Oyingbo Market, a barefoot vendor girl catches the eye of a billionaire heir who longs for something real. Their worlds collide in a forbidden connection that sparks whispers, envy, and danger. But in Lagos, love between the rich and the poor can ignite wildfires that no one can control. Let's dive into today's story. The sun blazed fiercely over Lagos, pouring gold over tin roofs and illuminating the sprawling Oyingbo Market like a restless fire. In the middle of the chaos, where bus conductors shouted destinations and hawkers sang the praises of their goods, a young woman named Amara knelt by her makeshift stall. Her shop was nothing more than a patched tarpaulin stretched between two rusted poles. But the trinkets she sold, beaded bracelets, cowrie necklaces, little carvings she made from discarded wood, were treasures of survival. Each sale meant a meal, and each day survived was a small victory against the city's merciless hunger. Amara was known among the other street vendors as the girl with the quiet smile. Despite her tattered clothes and bare feet, she carried herself with grace that belied her condition. Every morning, she polished her trinkets with care, as though each bead and shell held a fragment of her dignity. To the market people, she was family. To the pedestrians, she was invisible. Life had taught her to live in shadows, and she embraced it until the day the shadows failed her. That morning, a convoy of sleek black SUVs rolled into the market, scattering Okada riders and startling traders. Such cars rarely slowed here. They belonged to men who lived in Ikoyi mansions or Banana Island estates, worlds away from the sweaty chaos of Oyingbo. The door of one SUV opened and out stepped Chike Obiagu, billionaire heir to the Obiagu Empire. Tall, sharp-featured, and dressed in an Italian suit that cost more than the entire row of stalls combined. He was entirely out of place. Yet his eyes, restless and searching, roamed the market as though looking for something his money couldn't buy. And then he saw her. Chike had grown weary of the boardrooms and polite laughter of Lagos's elite. For years, his life had been a carousel of deals, gala nights, and hollow toasts. But lately, he had been restless, sneaking away from chauffeurs and advisors to walk among ordinary people. His family called it reckless. He called it living. That morning, he told his driver to stop at Oyingbo Market, not for business, not for charity, but out of a strange hunger gnawing inside him. He didn't expect to find it in the eyes of a barefoot woman. Amara noticed his gaze instantly. Most rich men looked through her, never at her. But this one, this man in his polished shoes and crisp suit, was watching her as though she held the answer to a question he hadn't dared to ask. She lowered her eyes quickly, pretending to rearrange her trinkets, but her hands trembled. His type never mingled with her world. Men like him built skyscrapers that cast shadows on the shanties she called home. Yet for reasons she couldn't explain, she felt exposed under his stare. "Good afternoon," Chike said finally, his voice smooth but hesitant. The market noise seemed to dim around them. Amara looked up, startled, then recovered quickly, forcing her practiced smile. "Bracelet, only 500 naira," she replied, holding out a string of colorful beads. Her tone was polite but guarded, a shield against disappointment. Chike reached for the bracelet, but instead of handing over money, he asked, "Did you make this?" The question unsettled her. Customers rarely cared about the maker, only the price. She nodded cautiously. "It's beautiful," he said simply. For the first time in years, Amara felt her heart skip, not from hunger, not from fear, but from possibility. News traveled quickly in the market. By the time Chike bought 3 bracelets and a carved wooden bed, whispers had begun. Vendors nudged each other, eyes darting towards the strange pair. "Now who be that fine bobo with a talk to Amara? See how he suit fresh," one woman muttered. Another replied, It was a spectacle, the billionaire among the hustlers. Amara, uncomfortable under the weight of the stairs, tried to end the conversation. "Thank you, sir. Safe journey." She hoped he would walk away, leaving her to sink back into her world where expectations were small and survival was enough. But Chike lingered, his driver shifting impatiently by the SUV. "Can I come back?" he asked quietly. The question stunned her. She blinked, unsure if she had heard right. "Come back?" "Yes, to see you." Amara shook her head, forcing a laugh to mask the tremor in her voice. "Oga, this is just a market stall. People don't come here to visit." But Chike's eyes were steady. "Then I'll be different." When he finally left, sliding into the black SUV, the market erupted into chatter. Some were envious, others suspicious, and a few protective. "Amara, shine your eye, oh," warned Mama Ngozi, the fish seller who treated her like a daughter. "Men like that, they know they marry girls like us. They use and dump." Amara smiled weakly, but inside, her chest tightened. She wanted to believe Chike was different, but life had taught her to be cautious. And yet, deep down, she knew her world had shifted. The billionaire's gaze had lit a spark, and sparks in Lagos often burned into wildfires. 2 days later, Amara was arranging her trinkets when a familiar shadow fell across her stall. She looked up, and there he was, Chike Obiagu, dressed more simply this time, in a plain shirt and jeans. Still, his aura carried the weight of wealth, and his presence sent ripples through the market again. Vendors whispered, some smiling knowingly, others frowning with suspicion. "You came back," Amara said, her voice betraying surprise. "I told you I would. I couldn't stop thinking about the bed I bought. It felt alive in my hands, like your work has spirit." Amara was caught off guard. She had carved that bed from the broken chair leg, never imagining it would impress a billionaire. She studied him carefully. Why was he here? Was this curiosity, boredom, or something deeper? "You don't belong here," she said cautiously. "This place is not for people like you." Chike smiled faintly. "Maybe it's exactly where I should be." The vendors nearby exchanged glances. Mama Ngozi shook her head, muttering prayers under her breath. She had seen too many rich men play with the poor. But Chike wasn't playing. He spent the afternoon listening to Amara, asking about her carvings, her beads, her life. Though she offered little, he soaked in every word as though each detail was a rare treasure.